program, and it's such an important corner of our safety net. Any ideas you have? Most farmers believe it's working well, but have ideas for change. Any ideas you want to share to continue its effectiveness, but also its affordability?
Yeah, I think we will continue to look at ways that we can broaden the programs to get more producers in, to create more tools, and hearing from all of you, but from our producers is critically important to that.
My staff recently went on a ag staff tour, and one issue was raised about the emergency relief program, and they are grateful for the quick and effective approach taken during the implementation of ERP Phase 1. But a number of them have been less enthusiastic of the income tax-based approach taken during the rollout of ERP Phase 2. Could you speak to any concerns you've heard and how it will inform any improvements we should make?
The goal in ERP2 is to make sure that we make assistance available to all those producers, including those producers who haven't had access to crop insurance or NAP. And so the purpose here is to provide a revenue-based approach that can broaden the safety net to get all those folks in. And that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to open the doors up to make sure that all of agriculture can take advantage. If at the end of that we have additional resources and we can think about a shallow loss program to deal with some of the concerns that I think your producers are raising, we're happy to look at that.
Okay. Mr. Ducheneau, we all know Mr. Bonney's talked about this, the efforts to ease the burdens in applying for USDA programs. What steps is FSA taking to streamline and decrease the turnaround time for guaranteed and direct loan applications?
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate the question. We recently announced that we went from a 29-page application down to a 13-page application. A couple of those pages are the legalese that we need to have on there, so we're down to about a 12-page application that really looks like a financial document instead of a narrative-based product. So we're helping our producers get the right information to our staff so that we can ideally make more timely decisions. I understand the importance of credit very deeply, being the child of the farm financial crisis from the 80s. So I understand how important that is, and understand that a decision on credit too late is as bad as a denial.
Okay,
we really want to fix that.
Okay, Mr. Bonney, Senator Thune and I have recently introduced the Ag Innovation Act, which would help farmers determine the value of emerging conservation and production practices. Do you have an update on the status of the report that we included a requirement in the 2018 Farm Bill?
I don't. I'll be happy to report, get back with your staff on that. I will just say, really appreciate your leadership on this issue. It's critically important.
Okay. What about, this is now, again for you, Mr. Bonney, this is on dairy. Small and medium-sized dairy farms make up majority still of dairy farms in the nation, certainly true in my state. When evaluating dairy programs like the Dairy Margin Coverage Program, what would be the most helpful to keep our small and medium-sized farms in business when we look at any policy changes?
I think it's been a really, really important program. As I mentioned early, we've tried to update the prices to make sure it's as effective as we can and reflective of what producers are seeing on the ground, and to provide supplemental questions as well. I think we would welcome a conversation with all of you to make sure it continues to work for our producers.
Okay, thank you. And I appreciate your short answers. It just allows us to get into, you're not filibustering. It's like the best thing ever. In last week's hearing, your colleague, Undersecretary Taylor, Mr. Bonney, confirmed that she would work together with you to maintain a stocks-to-use level in the United States between 13.5 and 15.5%, which provides for a reliable and stable supply of sugar to both consumers, food manufacturers. Do you feel that range represents an adequate supply for the U.S.?
I can give you a really short answer on that one. Yes.
Okay, very good. Last, Ms. Bunger, thank you. Given the challenges producers, especially crop producers, have faced over the last 5 years and the lessons we've learned from the disaster assistance, some of it ad hoc, we've had some good experiences and bad in the Midwest, but many good experiences as well. What recommendations do you have to improve crop insurance options for specialty crop growers?
I think the best way to get the most results is to engage with stakeholders. We've seen a significant amount of interest in our whole farm revenue policy with our RMA roadshows, along with our microfarm, especially with the changes we've made to reduce the red tape when applying for those types of policies. We've increased the revenue limits for both of those, and the RMA roadshows have been very successful with getting that education out. We've seen now probably close to 1,000 people that have listened in and have really appreciated our efforts with that. And so we're not going to try to fix anything that's broken at this point. We're going to continue our education efforts.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.